Welcome, everyone. It's been way too long. MS Confidential has been taking a long nap and is now ready to emerge into the world. And it is so freaking nice to see all your faces. Elizabeth Jameson, of course, we will always be here for you forever and ever when you want to bring this back into the world if it ever goes into a long nap again. We are here for each other, and I think we gather because we recognize the value of connection and solidarity. So, thank you, Elizabeth, for gathering us. And Jessica is back, which never felt like you were gone because it just wasn't right that you were. So we are right back to the day you left, and what an honor to have you share your time and your wisdom with us. And Kyle, my favorite brother from another mother. So, anyway, we're not going to have an agenda today. We're just going to catch up like old friends and see what comes up. Um, Elizabeth, can we start with you though? I just want to hear like where are you at and what's it feel like to be here today?
Well, I want to, may I interject? Say I want to start with Jessica because I missed her so much and I want her to talk all about what she's been doing and how what was so great that day I called you and said, "Would you ever want to come back?" You said yes. I said, then I called everyone and said, Jessica wants to come back. Yay. That was the most wonderful email ever sent out to people. So, Jessica, tell
Take the
me,
stage.
Um, Let me just start by saying, all of you and MS Confidential as like the incubator, or maybe we're the incubator. I don't know. I guess that's here and there. I'm very happy to be here. I'm so thankful for community. Um, Community is everything. So I have so many words and I have no words. I'm um, abundantly thankful for all of you in this space and our voices and our truths. So I don't know. My heart is again on my sleeve as it always is. Uh, in terms of me, I am, now very much happily married to the love of my life.
Congratulations.
Thanks. It's
congratulations.
thank you, thank you. Um, it's when I say happily, I mean it has always been from dream like, and I am so grateful to be able to experience that kind of love. Um, Again, no words, but so many words. I'm a married lady. um, Still very much making a lot of art, walking into my third year of the PhD program. Then I'm in gender studies. I go to Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, which is, a PhD program. So my supervisor is fucking rad. And also, PhD programs are insane by design. So, there's like joy and there's like pain. Because it's
I
just,
think there's a song or two about
yeah,
that.
it's just like, is what it is. I mean, that's just what the thing is. Um, uh, I, it is as a person with MS with chronic illness. Um, you know, they're just, I'm, I am more than a patient. Um, right? Like it's not the only thing that makes me up. And also here I am living with this thing. And as a result of that, having all of this like dream come true reality is, I'm still like learning how to be like, no, life, great, abundant things can happen. And
Mm.
just like acquiescing to figuring out, living with, experiencing this new body, this new vision on life post diagnosis. It's also a new thing to learn what life is like when you're happily married, when you reach that goal of getting into a PhD program, and not just any PhD program, like as yada 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 the story goes, um, the PhD program, which is perfect for your work as a practicing artist. You're able to stay in your work as a maker, and of course do the scholarly academic part of the things with a supervisor who you respect so much, who's fucking brilliant, excuse my French. And then just like watching how life continues to unfold with some joy and all of the other things that make you up. Um, and my research, I'm not getting into those specifics. My research is very much in conversation with illness narratives and disease development and plenty of other things. So, and here I am, you know, with all of you, and again, graciously standing in this reality of how thankful I am to be connected with people, be connected with communities who truly, literally continue to um, see me and hold me up and allow me to hear y'all and see y'all and hopefully um, hold you up in similar ways. So, you know,
Love that.
yes,
Wow.
yes. And I'm more teary because, again, PhD student, okay, I just finished a bunch of work. So it's like a roller coaster of like, yes. But then it's like, you know, the work's not done. So I'm just like sensitive right now. More sensitive. So
You know, there's this term that I just thought of. I haven't heard it in a long time. Maybe it was more back from like the 90s or something. But have you guys heard the term upper limits? Where like I think it's thrown around in psychological circles where people, like you were saying, they have all of a sudden this abundance in their life, but it's like there's something that wants to come down and go, like that, it can't go any further, or this can't be
mm-hmm.
real. Do you
Mm-hmm.
guys ever experience that phenomenon?
Yeah, that's that's the default these days, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me.
Yeah, how does that show up?
Um, like Jess, like you were saying, so many words, but so few. Uh, I feel kind of lost these days. So I'm hoping that after this spontaneous road trip, uh, I'll feel like a brand new man. Right now, you probably see me touch my face and stuff. Something about MS that's driving me crazy right now is feels like there are bugs on me.
Mm.
Fun.
So you're saying
Yeah.
that you have upper limits around, like you're feeling the limits of tolerance for the symptoms of MS. in one
Yeah,
part of your
just
life?
life in general,
Mm,
feeling like I'm hitting that upper limit and
yeah.
not sure how to supersede that.
Well, shaking it up, I mean, that alone, that seems like a really bright thing to do, just sometimes changing the routines.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Like we've been uh Asheville here. We've still been rebuilding since last September, October, when the Hurricane Helene hit and completely devastated Western North Carolina. I mean, wiped some towns off the face of the earth. Uh, that's just been hard being here. Um, in some parts of the town, it looks like the destruction was just caused yesterday.
Mm,
Uh, but that's been tough.
yeah. Wow.
Kyle, I know from our discussions, you've been through hell and back again, and your community has been through hell and back again. The
Yeah, I feel
destruction of the
so lucky because so many people like lost everything. Like their literal houses got wiped off the face of the earth. Um, my neighborhood suffered very minimal damages. You drive right outside the neighborhood, and it was apocalyptic.
Wow.
Uh, and that's just been that itself has been pushed me towards an upper limit in all aspects of life.
Hmm.
It's been kind of overwhelming.
Yeah.
so you're suffering post-traumatic stress syndrome.
There's definitely
Some
some PTSD.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think our anthropomorphic, is that the right word? Yeah. No, no, not anthropomorphic. The
I love that word.
Yeah, I do love that word. But I was totally blanking. The era that we're in, we're anthropocentric, where everything is hierarchical, this sort of era that we live in where we believe that we are individuals and material and that other people around us are not going to affect on a cellular level what's happening in here. And I think that's just all bullshit. And I think it's getting blown apart,
I'm
especially
with
by,
you.
the tangle theory with quantum mechanics and stuff where, these cells here can be affecting cells millions of miles away. Anyway, I'm not a neuroscientist, but I feel like it's absurd to think that a whole community could have devastation like that. And even though your house is still standing, to think that, well, then Kyle should be fine. It
Yeah.
doesn't work that way.
It's like collective heartbreak and
yeah,
kind of feeling a little guilty that I'm just
Mhm.
fine. And some other people's lives, some of my neighbors just have had to move because maybe their place of work, their business also got completely destroyed. Uh,
Mm.
it's bizarre. I used to live in Florida and I've experienced many hurricanes before. There's nothing like what we just experienced. It was a geologic event, they have called it. There were
Mm.
over 1,000 landslides.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and it was
Mm.
a lot.
It's horrifying.
I can't imagine the stress you've been under and the whole community has been under. Have you developed a new community of survivors?
It seems like, yeah, I mean, it seems like Asheville as a whole, uh, if you were here during Helene, you're part of the family. Uh, and you can feel that all over town.
Mm.
Um, so that's been uplifting.
Um, are you guys familiar with Sophie Strand, the author? I'm going to recommend a book. And believe I'm
Okay,
not
please
jumping
do.
topics here. Sophie Strand, she just finished a memoir called The Body is a Doorway.
Okay.
And she is very much about tying the individual body to the ecological body and how the devastation that's happening on the planet is paralleling a lot of the sickness that we're experiencing as individuals. And I just interviewed her like 2 weeks ago or something, and she talked about how I'm actually going to find it here. She actually said, for me, the way I hold all this devastation in the world right now, first of all, we cannot hold it alone, but
Yeah.
instead let it weaken us to the point where we need to reach out. So she sees that disability is actually kind of this radical invitation to collaborate because you
Mhm.
can't do things alone. And I just thought, what an interesting spin on disability, that it actually is relational. It forces us to be relational. And in a similar way, these um, floods and hurricanes are also um, asking us to be relational. I don't have a question about it. I just wanted to share.
It's great. I mean, I think that
You said that was called
The
The Body
body
is
is
a
the
Doorway.
doorway. The
Okay.
body is a doorway.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
What do you
gonna
guys
check
think
that.
about that? Do you feel there's a connection between what you experience physically and what the planet's experiencing?
absolutely. I definitely. I mean, it sounds like a great book. I wrote it down. I mean, I think that that's. Um, I mean, it very much is all connected. When you brought what the book was about up, I definitely was specifically thinking about folks with illnesses and disability and the like in relation to our environmental settings. But I mean, like there's Cancer Alley in Louisiana. Um, and that's directly related to, I hope this isn't off topic. In my mind, it's not, but if it is, I'm sorry. But I mean, it's like the environment and oil and how it's literally causing cancer. People in the
Mhm.
community literally have cancer because of the thing.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
that's a little off topic. I apologize. But I mean, what you're saying, it's definitely all connected.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In a very real way.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, it's almost like whether we're looking at it through the lens of climate change or through MS or
Mm-hmm.
any chronic illness, we're
Mm.
in this period of evolution on the planet. We're all being asked
Mm-hmm.
to be more relational
Yeah.
Yes.
in
Yes.
whatever way that looks. It doesn't necessarily mean human relations. Even Sophie goes very much into like the mycorrhizal systems and the microbial, like she lives in the woods and she likes to,
Wow.
feel her in fact, she even's like, I haven't had sex in a year. And so I imagine instead the microbes in my body having a love affair. Like everything, I am just
Interesting.
this host to many species,
Mm-hmm.
making love through me. So she sees
Sure.
everything as
Mm-hmm.
relational, and she's very sick. By the way, I didn't mention that. She has a lot. She has horrible, horrible sickness. It's not MS, but
Mm-hmm.
variations on chronic illness that are relentless.
Mm-hmm.
So she's speaking from a disabled voice.
Yeah.
So, Elizabeth, what do
Thank
you think about this connection between what we experience in our bodies and the earth?
I am thinking about, maybe not thinking about that exactly, because my mind is stuck on the fact I had a long conversation with a friend of mine who lives in DC, and she said there are attempts by the administration to
Mm.
outlaw the word disability, and all legal words must be, if the regs passed, has to be handicap. So the we have to go back to being we're handicapped versus anything other than trapped in a fixed image. And there's a movement to take out the ADA. So so we won't exist theoretically if this happens.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's shocking, isn't it, that we are having not chatted in a year and so much has changed in just that
So much
year.
has changed.
Yeah, it's scary.
Mhm. It's pretty atrocious, and hopefully, I'll get to it. It's atrocious and terrible. The
Mhm.
attempts to erase people.
Mhm.
It's very unfortunate.
I think we're at a strange place of feeling incredibly helpless because most of us didn't believe it could go this far.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there are the marches and the No Kings Day had fabulous turnout.
Yeah.
But then we all go back and we read the headlines on Monday and it's as if it didn't even exist. And so there's this real tension between helplessness and doing everything we can to
Mm-hmm.
imagine a better future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
How
marched
about
on
that?
Sunday and I felt 20 years younger. I was so
Oh,
energized. I felt so delighted to be around
I love.
lots of people who are elderly, little kids,
Yep.
all people of all ages, all
Yeah.
political persuasions.
Mm-hmm.
There
Hmm.
were all sorts of diversity in this crowd I marched with, and I just realized I'm not hopeless. There's, I'm just gonna keep marching
Yep.
and saying no
Mm-hmm.
to things that I
Mm-hmm.
think are very critical human beings in the United States.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Yeah. Well, that's
Which
awesome.
march? Where were you?
I was in Sonoma,
Oh, okay.
Mm.
and it was filled with lots of people of different ages,
Mm-hmm.
and the person who led the calls was an elderly man, and someone older than me. So elderly me, older than me, must be in his 90s, and he said, "Come on, we're gonna have innovative calls for action,"
Mm-hmm.
and he was so great,
Mm.
and he spoke with such wisdom, having lived so long.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "We're not going to be depressed. We're going to take action and show up in little ways."
That's
And
fantastic.
I so was nourished by him and everyone who was at the march. So
That's
that's
the
what I
antidote to hearing shit about, disability being a word we can't use anymore. It's the
About
antidote is
that.
that we will.
yeah.
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 And there are many, many, many of us that will, and we'll just go,
Mm-hmm.
well, too bad, because um,
We're here.
unfortunately, yeah, we're here.
We exist.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm glad you
At
experienced.
Hands Off protest a couple of months ago, I met this lady. I think she said she was 68, 69. Um, One of her friends in Chicago told her about the rally, about the protest, and it was the first protest she had ever attended. She lived through the 60s, the 70s,
Wow.
and this is first time she has gotten out, and she was my friend. And like here at St. Elizabeth, I don't know, we really bonded, and she really just filled up my cup.
Mm.
Oh.
Have you all been to MS gatherings too? Elizabeth, I know you did one
Yeah,
years ago.
I march every year in the MS
I haven't
walk.
been to an MS anything in a long, long time.
Mm.
My
Is that,
partner and I went last year to one of the MS walk in San Francisco, but we missed it accidentally this year.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What is the feeling when you're there, or Kyle, why haven't you done it? Is there a reason why, or it just hasn't been as accessible?
Um, the MS events here are pretty small and unorganized.
Mm.
Um, and after the hurricane, like all of the parks in the area have been, it looks like a bomb went off in each of these parks. They were beautiful before. Me and Jonathan used to go all the time, any sunny day, and ride my scooter. And now it looks like a war zone.
Wow.
Still, almost a year later.
Yeah, so not a
Um,
place to gather.
and yeah, nothing has really come about. That's MS related, honestly.
Mm.
It's a very disjointed presence here.
Mm.
What city are you in again? You said Asheville?
Asheville.
Yeah.
Asheville.
The MS events were very joyous. They're full of life and beauty, and I have really enjoyed marching. I don't know marching, but walking the parade is not the march, not march. We're parading in a quarter mile of wonderful people and kids and people of all ages and disabilities. It's really fun.
Wow.
Hmm.
So there's this, I can see how Kyle, gathering in a wasteland with a few people versus this
Yeah,
momentum that Elizabeth's talking about is a very different experience.
yeah, I'm hoping that's going to change here soon. I just got a great new mobility aid. I can still sort of walk, so I use a walker, um, but I use a wheelchair most of the time, especially when I'm going out. Um, and I've got like a graveyard of mobility devices that are
Right.
good, just don't do what I'm looking for. But I got this awesome new one. It's a walker and an electric little wheelchair scooter, um, and it's going to help me get out and be more active. I've been my world has been feeling so small
Mm.
uh, with just my lack of mobility, and so I think this is going to be a game changer.
Can I ask you, what's your relationship to MS since the hurricane? Has it
My
had
relationship
any
to
effect?
um I don't know. I've really been trying to reframe my relationship with MS to myself and be more like you. I remember when we first met and you were saying that MS is your friend. Um, it has shown me very unique life, that's for sure. And it's given me some insights that I otherwise wouldn't have seen or come to without these experiences. So I'm getting to your mindset, Elizabeth, a wise one.
Can you talk about your vision and the hurricane and MS? Do you know it? Do you know anything, wisdom that you can share in dealing with such horrors?
It's just acquiescing to what you have no control of.
Right.
And acceptance has been a very hard part of my MS journey.
Mm.
So just coming to some acceptance with some really hard truths and new realities. It's difficult to get there, but I'm getting there.
Yeah.
So
Jess, what
you,
about you? Do you feel like your relationship to MS has changed? And I mean, now you're in the rigors of your PhD program and juggling a lot. So how is that all shifting that relationship?
How is it shifting? I think in relation to my studies, um, it's allowing me to it's allowing me to dig even deeper to it's allowing me to dig even deeper into other folks' existences with um, chronic illness, which allows me to step outside myself, sometimes partially step away from the things, step away from the challenges that I'm experiencing, but not really because,
Mm.
you know, um, so I guess it's a continuous process of learning as I'm literally living within it, learning because I'm in an academic program, specifically a PhD program, which is like an explosion of of so many things. Um, it's I mean it's obvious to say that uh, MS, all of it is still a mirror looking right at me, um, which is hard because that mirror uh, is often an eruption. My
Mm.
body does not respond well to stress. The responses that my body has are always it's always very aggressive, it's uncomfortable, it's scary, it's vulnerable. I remember my first year when I was in one of my classes TAing, stress was at 1,000, first year PhD program, new country, a million other things. And I literally couldn't speak. Uh, Thankfully, the students were gracious and it didn't like completely spiral into people being disrespectful and so on and so forth. But not being able to speak because I'm exhausted, because it's early in the morning, because I'm stressed is pretty uncomfortable. Recently, when I was at a conference, I was again feeling stressed and anxious, and tremors uh, began to happen. So it's just, it's
Yeah.
this constant. I don't know. It's a constant. It's a roller coaster. It's so many things. And I hope I'm not completely digressing to what you're asking me. If so, I am sorry.
No, I love the word that you used. You use the word, it's a constantly a mirror. And
Yes.
it that reminds me of well, like chronic illness. A lot of people take ayahuasca to have their big initiation or they do crazy drugs or whatever, but
Hmm.
chronic illness is it's like a microdosing all the time, but not
Yes.
even microdosing. It's like little microdoses and then mega dose, you know? And
Yeah.
you guys, it's like ego death. And
Yes.
not even when you're choosing to take the pill.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's using the word mirror, I think, is really a great way of putting it because it does just put reality in your face over and over and over again.
Yes. I think ego death is, I think that's like a whole conversation. And mind you, we're all different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people have MS and they may attend to this or see this way different. I think ego death is, for me, like, of course, I have an ego because I'm a human being, I'm alive, I'm just, it exists. And also, post diagnosis, it has done this thing of like, what's it even worth? Why why be the bully? Why be the mean girl when
Yeah.
it's like here we are in life. We get to like do a thing. Why, if you like can experience this thing of joy, experience, if you're able to step into happiness, what a gift to be able to experience happiness and to feel good. Does that make sense to what you just said? Does that kind
Hmm.
of make sense? I hope it
Hmm.
does.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think for certain, this idea of feeling good is
Mhm.
something that becomes a lives on a spectrum when you have
Mhm.
chronic illness,
Sure,
and
absolutely.
yet we get this practice to
Mhm.
find sort of maybe an inner stability that
Mhm.
that is unshakable
Yeah.
even with all the different symptoms, that the joy is
Mhm.
accessible outside of circumstance, whereas a lot of the world still is kind of like hanging their joy on when this happens.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Speaking of joy, Elizabeth, before we end, because I know
Yes.
I want to know about your trip to New York and
Yay.
Oh,
your
it was
exhibition that you had.
amazing.
Was it?
I was asked to do an art show in New York City, and um, it was wonderful, awe-inspiring. It was so incredible because I thought I'd never be able to have an art show ever again since I became a quadriplegic and I could use my hands. And it all was made possible because Lisa, my friendship and loyalty to Lisa, she made it all happen. And was I thank her so much for what she's done. She, I, she's the guru, my mentor of my life, and she and I oh, had all the artwork hung, huge number of pieces, and had an incredible art show with all sorts of people, including lots of disabled people. It was great. And they're asking us to show in September. So we're going to show again a smaller show. The September was a solo show, which is unbelievable. In New York City, a solo show. I
Wow.
I can't believe it. It was so wonderful.
Can you share some photos with us? I'm sure, Lisa, were you there with Elizabeth? You both went together, right? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm bringing you in because you
I'm
need to be
coming. Hold on. Hang on. I gotta show me.
present.
Uh, and then I need to pin myself. Sorry, guys. Don't worry. I'll edit this later. Yeah, so it was ambitious, I will say. I will share pictures, maybe for our next Emma's Confidential. I'll put like a slideshow or maybe at the end of this. It was ambitious. And for a little bit, I think I'm never one to back down from a challenge. Especially if I know I can do it, right? Like if I know I can do it, then I'll push for it. And it was a lot of work. But it did turn out amazing. And so she had big hanging pieces, and like 30 of her images, her circuit breaker narrative textile piece. I did a video piece of work for her. We had her essays printed really large so that there was some context with the images as well. And then I want to point out this person. This is Gabrielle Amaya, who is amazing, right, Elizabeth?
Right.
She's the one who found Elizabeth's website somehow and said, would you ever consider talking to me? And of course, Elizabeth loves talking to everybody, right? I'll start with and then after talking with her, she introduced Elizabeth to Rick Gadati at Positive Exposure. And then that's how all of this transpired.
And Positive Exposure is a nonprofit that they're dedicated to people with disabilities. And Rick is a photographer, major photographer, and he photographs people and shows his work throughout the world.
It's a beautiful space.
Well, they have a new space, so that's why they wanted to redo another installation of Elizabeth's work.
Wow. Well, even in the photos that you sent, that looked like a newer space. It looked really nice.
When was this art show?
This was in October.
Okay.
And then it was going to last only till before Thanksgiving, and they kept it up through New Year's Day and then took it down and moved to their new location, which is just off Wall Street. And so, yeah, they want to have another exhibition with Elizabeth's work.
In September.
Wow. So you'll both go out there for that as well.
I probably cannot. But it's for, he wants to really try to bring in more medical students to learn from Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Because that's more of what it's about.
Lisa, maybe you need to open your own art gallery theme.
I mean, Elizabeth and I have talked about it before, about like having a space where it's not just about Elizabeth's work, but everybody living with some kind of disability or chronic illness. I just started the website. It's not up yet, but it's called Common Ground Arts. And it's going to be a place where people living with both visible and invisible illnesses can share their work. And of course, people can purchase Elizabeth's. We're actually, as soon as we hang up, we're finishing the last details on her book of some of her work, some of her essays, some prose. So we're going to be publishing it through there. So
through Common Ground Art.
Correct.
What you definitely this is what you need to be doing next. I love it.
And what I'm going to do, I'm going to Boston and attend your party. Annie invited me to your party, so I'm going to go to Boston.
Wait, you talking to me?
Yes.
You talking
Annie's
to me?
throwing a big party.
I know. Isn't that the sweetest freaking thing
And I'm
ever?
going to be there for it.
You are coming? Oh my God, I'm going to cry. I can't wait. You guys are all welcome. Annie offered to throw up. My book is coming out mid-October, and the publisher wants me to start in New York and then work some cities on the way back. But Annie was like, "Well, come to Boston and I'll throw a party at my house." And I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me! What?" So
I wouldn't miss it. I just can't wait.
Oh, wow.
And
well,
we should say your big news. She's publishing a book. Amazing. And it's going to be great.
And I believe I pre-ordered it.
You already pre-ordered it?
I believe so. As soon as I saw it, I was
Yeah.
like, yes,
Oh,
I
you
will take that.
guys.
It's amazing.
We need each other.
It's thrilling. It's thrilling. Well, I'll tell you what, because Elizabeth, I introduced the publisher to Elizabeth and she's fucking over the moon about you. So, if there's, some version of a collection of your essays that she wants to pull together, this is where the love continues. I got lucky finding my way into this publisher, and now I hope everyone that I adore can reap the benefits of it because she's awesome and you guys are awesome. So it's a gift that keeps on giving.
Is
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's like I would do anything for any of you
Hmm.
that I could.
Same.
Yep.
So
Same.
please make use of me.
Mm. Wow.
It's so
And
wonderful.
thank you for introducing me to all your people, Kimberly.
Mm. You're absolutely welcome. This work is such a joy.
Mhm.
Talk about illness creating a bridge for relation. I mean, I
Mhm.
never would have known all the stories and the humans behind the stories had I
Mhm.
not fallen to my knees 10 years ago. And it just keeps on growing.
Mhm.
So, guess I have MDDS to thank for that. And all the different ways that we walk around in this world with wounds and vulnerabilities. It's like, maybe we wouldn't be so lucky if we didn't have them. So, yeah.
I received a phone call from a classmate in law school who called me up and said she has a brain tumor and she considered me an expert. And how do we deal with this issue? She had her surgery. It was non-malignant. She's going to live a long time. But she said, oh my God, it's so interesting having a disability. Yeah, it is. And so we've been having a series of phone calls just talking about how interesting our lives are,
Mhm.
with disability, and our experiences make us view the world so differently.
Mhm. Truly.
Yeah. Elizabeth, you opened that door in your friend. I mean, I wonder if she would be feeling that way had you not opened that conversation. So that is your gift to this world and to so many people.
Truly.
God, if that was true, I would be so wonderful. Thank you.
It's true.
It is true.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
true. You were the one, Elizabeth. I still look at that project. I was just a wee mid-20 something. And what was that project called? Facing MS.
KCMS.
And I still look at pictures and I'm like, God damn, man, life is a trip. Like, it's a trip. Like, it's really not funny, but we laugh to keep from crying. But like, you were the one, Elizabeth, who truly you have purposely, genuinely, consistently, joyfully been there for me. Like, you, like, it really, like, you have been one of the consistent pillars, truly. Like, truly, truly, because you're badass.
Because
And
you're badass.
we're all badasses. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
and that too. We are, truly.
And we're holding ourselves accountable to
Mm-hmm.
be bigger and bigger badasses.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're going to be considered handicapped, we're going to become bigger badasses.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's all we know.
Yeah.
And it's so great to see, maybe we're all, the language just slipped my mind. That's okay. I'll just move on. It's so great to see how illness narratives, patient narratives, your work in New York, which is always sparkly, to see our stories like being told from our mouths through our art, through our words, it's just, it's truly fucking magical. Like, yes, it's the research that I do and it's the things I'm like, yes, 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 but it's just across the board, it is such a big deal. Like, it is such a big deal to see how our artistry, again, tells our stories, and it just creates, I don't know, magic is the only word that keeps, but it's just so incredibly powerful. It's so inspiring. It allows us to see ourselves, at least this is my perspective, of course, to see ourselves as full people who happen to be living with these illnesses, with these disabilities, with these things. And it's just so incredibly important and so wonderful, and just it's just great.
MS Confidential 2.0 should have a tagline, and it says, "We're all badasses."
Yes.
You know, like truly, we have each other, and it's just, MS Confidential is a lifeline.
Yeah.
Truly, this work is a lifeline. Elizabeth, you're a lifeline.
Yeah.
Continue to be. So.
And you continue to be my lifeline. All of you continue to be my lifeline. And Kimberly, your work has been incredible. All your video work and what you've done for the past 4 years, 5 years. You doggedly went through everything. You kept doing work on behalf of people who are disabled. And making a new vision of disability. It's incredible.
Thank you.
I thank you so much.
I wouldn't have it any other way to be on this ride with all of you. It's phenomenal.
Truly.
I just put something in the comments. Elizabeth, you've already seen this in the chat. And I've been working on a graduate certificate at Harvard. It's a man named Norman Kunk, and he talks about the right to be disabled and how disability has presented itself for years and years and years, and that actually long ago tribes and ancient cultures considered everybody to be part of the community, no matter what was going on. Even if you had a disability or whatever, there was no othering. And how we've progressively, as we've gotten modern, right, and more civilized, how that's been pushed out. So anyway, if you feel like watching, it's about 7 minutes, I think.
That's great.
But I put it in the chat. So
yeah, well, and they not only part of the community, but revered for, like the skills. If someone had a dissociative personality, then they would use that as some sort of shamanic channeling of other realms. And it's like everyone had a role to play in society. And elderly, which, yeah. Wow, that's exciting, Lisa.
Thank you for sharing it.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And
good to see y'all.
yeah, let's do this in July. Let's not wait forever to do
I
it.
can't wait.
Yes. So good seeing all of you, truly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Mwah. Love you.
Bye.